My name is Ryan and this is Ryan's Reads. I don't know why I did that. So today is a tag I'm very excited to do. Basically, you've definitely heard of this tag. It's the playlist book tag, and basically what that means is I'll put my playlist on shuffle for you guys and I will get the first book that comes to mind when I hear this song. Honestly, I've watched one video of someone doing this, but it's okay. We're gonna try anyway. I'll link down below the original video for you guys so you can check that out. But otherwise, I'm not gonna be doing a normal playlist for this. I'm gonna be doing my Disney playlist for this. In case you guys couldn't tell, I am a very big Disney fanatic. I love Disney with all my heart. It makes my heart so happy. Some of my favorite YouTubers are Disney YouTubers who just YouTube them going to Disney, or they're in the Disney college program, or whatever they're doing with Disney. I love it. I love hearing about it. I love talking about it. I love listening about it. I love Disney, in case you couldn't tell with literally everything around me right now. I even put on one of my little favorite Disney pins today. I'm wearing one of my favorite Disney sweatshirts that I got recently. This isn't on purpose. My stuffed animals back here, these are always here. I actually realized you can see them in the last video I filmed in front of my tapestry because I realized you can see Hank. This is Hank. Okay, so again, I really haven't watched any of these videos. I just know the basic premise for this video is you play your playlist, you listen to the song, and you get the first book that comes to mind. So let's get started then. I totally look a hot mess right now, but it's so okay. I'm gonna pull up my Disney playlist and we'll hit shuffle and get started. So I definitely got a little carried away with that, especially because I grabbed the book in the middle of the song. In case you guys didn't know, that's something there from the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack. And obviously for this one, I had to go with A Court of Thorns and Roses by the wonderful Sarah J. Maas. And in case you guys don't know, these books are actually kind of a loose Beauty and the Beast retelling, and so obviously that's the first thing I thought of when I heard this song. It kind of fits to the protagonist's relationship with the person she has a relationship in this book. I'm not going to spoil anything because a lot of these books, like, plot depends on these relationships. But if you don't know, A Court of Thorns and Roses is one of my all-time favorite series ever, and I actually have a bookish tattoo from this series. The quote is from the second book, so I'll definitely insert a picture of it. Also, if you guys didn't know, apparently this book is getting turned into a movie, so I'm super excited about that. I just really hope they do it justice. These books basically follow protagonist Feyre, and she is forced to become, not really a servant, but she owes a debt to the other protagonist in this book named Tamlin, and she owes a debt because she killed one of his men, and it's a whole ordeal, and I really don't even know how to explain this book because it's just so intense and so complex, and but basically it follows Feyre and Tamlin and the Fae in this other world. Next on shuffle is In case you didn't know, that song was Go the Distance from the Hercules movie, and for this I obviously had to go with The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, and any other books by him totally fit into that movie because that movie is about Greek gods, and obviously this book is about Greek gods, and I mean there's really no other reason I picked this book for that song besides they're both about Greek God. If you've been hiding under a rock and have not heard of the Percy Jackson series yet, this series is about a middle school aged boy who basically goes on this super epic adventure because he's trying to find Zeus's stolen property, quote unquote, for Zeus. And it also follows Percy and his journey of figuring out what other connections he has with the Greek gods. Next is That's Still Home, Go the Distance. Obviously, for Bippity Boppity Boo from Cinderella, in case you didn't know, I had to go with Geekerella by Ashley Poston. And basically, I actually haven't read this book before, but there has been a lot of hype surrounding it on BookTube, so that's a lot of the reason why I got it. And also, from what I get from the premise of it, is it's super interesting because it follows a cosplayer and how she goes to a con, and obviously it's a really fun love story. But other than that, I really don't know what it's about, and I don't want to know what it is going into it. But I did pick this because obviously the play on Geekerella, Cinderella, and the pumpkin truck thing, and she's in the blue ball gown, so obviously it had to be this book. Next up is song was Strangers Like Me from the Tarzan movie. And for this one, it took me a second, and I was looking at my bookshelf, but all of a sudden my eyes found The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, and they couldn't move away from them. I don't know why I felt like these books, I lied, I do know why. I felt like these books fit this song. I just feel like the song was singing about how he wants to know the strangers like him, and Ruby, and everybody, and Chubbs. They all want to know the strangers like them. They want to, band together and know the people like them because they don't want to be alone. So I know that's a really crap explanation for it, but if you read the books, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read the books, they're becoming a movie. Super excited. And if you didn't even know that and still don't know what these books are about, I'll tell you. The Darkest Minds is a trilogy, and all 3 books in the trilogy are out right now. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a trilogy anymore because she wrote another book for them. Question mark? I believe it's coming out later this summer, but all I know about the book is that it's events that happen a few years after the story takes place and finishes. So I don't know if it's short stories or something like that, or if it's added on to the trilogy or what. But again, the trilogy is about a girl named Ruby, and basically Ruby and the kids she knows all have powers, and the government all took all the kids that have these powers and put them in camps where they basically work and are under control and under the government's watch because they're a danger to society. So it follows Ruby and how she's coping with being in one of these camps. Let's see what's next. So in case you don't know, that song was How Far I'll Go from the Moana soundtrack, and I love that movie so much, but I definitely was stumped by this song. Ultimately, I did choose The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee, and this book was super popular last year. I think it was during the summer it came out, and I still have yet to read it, even though I really want to, but I did choose this book because I know that they're on a boat for a lot of the time, and they're on the water, so if you don't know, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue follows a prince, I believe. I'm sorry if I get the summary wrong. I really don't like knowing a lot about books before I go into them, but what I get from all the hype is it follows some kind of royalty, and he's bisexual, and he's in love with his best friend, and we follow them as they're out on a boat and there's pirates, and it just follows their adventures before he has to become like a super serious in whatever position he has in the royalty, and or if he's a prince or whatever. So that was I'll Make a Man Out of You from the Mulan soundtrack. And for this song, I obviously have to go with, not technically Crown of Midnight, but Throne of Glass, but this book was closer, so yeah. So basically the way I do my book reviews is I include songs in those reviews, or basically a playlist for the book itself. And for my Throne of Glass playlist / review, I included this song because I really thought it fit the premise of the song super well, or flip-flop that, the premise of the book. And I thought that because I think the fact that Cale wants her to like downplay everything she is and can do, and as he whips her into shape, I really did think of this song. So it's definitely because of Cale training Selena. You don't know what these books are, or if it's your first time on my channel and haven't heard me talk about these books. The Throne of Glass series follows Selena, and she was her kingdom's #1 assassin before she gets captured and gets thrown into a prison camp. And about a year after she gets thrown into that prison camp, she's taken out of it and thrown before the Prince of Adarlan, which is her kingdom, and he basically says you can either fight for your freedom or you can stay where you are. And obviously she takes him up on that offer and fights for her freedom by competing in a competition to become the king's #1 champion with 23 other criminals and assassins and thieves alike. I have talked about this book so many times on my channel, I have gotten the summary down packed by now. Let's see what's next. I'm having lots of fun. In case you don't know, that was Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me, from the Disney ride, I guess, in general, Pirates of the Caribbean. That's not from a movie, it's from the ride, so just making that clear for everybody who wants to listen to the song or is wondering what it's from. And for this song, I'm actually going to double say a book, I guess, if you want to call it that. Obviously, it's Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, because this is the only book I really know of that has pirates in it, or that I've read that has pirates in it, or I mean, I haven't even read this book. It's the only book on my shelf that has pirates in it. Like, even on the side of the book there's a little pirate ship there, so, or maybe that's the ship they're sailing on, I don't know, but it's the first one I thought of, so I'm gonna say that for that one. Next up is
But Peter, how do we get to
that was You Can Fly from the Peter Pan soundtrack. And for this one, I picked Maximum Ride by James Patterson. And I picked this book obviously because, well, not so obvious if you haven't read the books, but maybe even because there's wings on the cover. Basically everyone in this book is a lab experiment, and they're all kids who have wings, so they can fly. They don't need to think of a magical thought. They can just do it. This series is honestly one of my favorite series from when I was a kid. I wasn't even that young when I read them, to be totally honest. I was in 6th or 7th grade, I think. And this is one of the first series that I read that seriously got me into wanting to read and liking like fantasy and stuff. And I don't even know if this is fantasy, maybe it's sci-fi. I'm really bad at genres. So, but I really do love these books. And like I said, don't hear them talked about all. So I really wish more people would pick them up because they really are so good, even though they're middle grade. And a lot of people on here don't even seem to have a problem with middle grade because they like Rick Riordan books so much. So I really think that if you're super into, you know, good books, you should pick this up. I don't think that I could do this story justice by giving you a synopsis like from mouth. So I'm gonna do something that I'm probably never gonna do again. I'm gonna read some of Inside Flap for you guys. Strap yourself in for the thrill ride you will want to take again and again. From Death Valley, California to the bowels of New York City subway system, you're about to take off on a heart-stopping adventure that will blow you away. And it tells you about your faithful companions, and that's Max, Fang, Iggy, Nudge, the Gas Man, and Angel. 6 kids who are pretty normal in most ways, except they're 98% human and 2% bird. And so they're basically a little mini family in themselves, and they're just trying to get by and escape these things called erasers, which are trying to like take them out, and those are lab experiments as well, except they're half wolf. And it's just so good and so funny, and I really am planning on rereading these books again this year, so hopefully I'll be able to do reviews for you guys, which will hopefully get more of you into reading these books. Next up is...
You want to go outside? Why, Rapunzel?
So for this one, I obviously had to pick City of Bones, or basically the first 3 books by Cassandra Clare. If you read the book, you obviously know why I picked it. If you haven't read the books yet, I won't spoil them for you, but you know, Clary's mom is a little bit of a bit controlling, to say the least. So I did choose this one for that lovely song from the Tangled soundtrack, and if you don't know, that was Mother Knows Best, again, from the Tangled soundtrack, and Claire's mom is maybe not as bad as Rapunzel's mom, but you know, she had her moments. If you don't know what these pretty books are about, it follows Clary as she delves into the world of the Shadow Hunters and basically finds out that they're demon hunters, and hey, guess what, you're one of them, and sorry, you gotta get used to it. That obviously wasn't a super in-depth review, but you definitely know what these books are about by now if you've been on BookTube for more than a day. So only 2 more songs left. I'm doing 11 songs. I don't know if I said that. I know that's a really weird number, but whatever. Next up is... So that was You'll Be in My Heart from the Tarzan soundtrack, and for this one I obviously had to go with the Harry Potter series, not just Deathly Hallows. This one was just closest. I picked these books for obvious reasons, because literally everyone you love in these books dies. So, and they all die for Harry. And so obviously, in their death, they protect him. So I thought this song was very fitting. It makes me sad to think about that song in relation to these books, because it's so true. Everyone who died for him always watches over him. Also, I'm not summarizing these books. Last song is... was... Ooh, the lighting is just not happening today. That was A Whole New World from the Aladdin soundtrack, and the book I picked for this one is another double. Sorry. But I do think this one fit very well, because literally whenever Clary and Jace are by themselves, she even says, like, she can't remember anything else besides, like, that's going on, besides that she's, like, you know, with him. And I thought that was pretty fitting, quote unquote, because he's from literally a whole new world, and you know, he's showing her the ropes as she's getting into it. So I don't have more of an explanation. I just really thought it went together pretty well. Okay, so that seems to be it for today for this video. I really enjoyed this video because I got to talk about my two favorite things in the entire world, which is Disney and books. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm trying to expand on ideas for doing Disney/books kind of mashup videos, so definitely expect more of that. I really do love Disney so much, so definitely comment anything down below about if you love Disney or why you love Disney or what's your favorite Disney movie, anything. Literally, I love talking about Disney, so I will talk about Disney with anyone who comments about it. So it makes my heart happy, and it makes my heart happy knowing that you guys like Disney too. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Ryan. This was Ryan's Reads, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!